Hi, welcome back everybody to the Triple Play podcast. We got the old double play for you here, the most consistent double play in the league right here. But anyway, we're coming to you today because tomorrow, me and Nick have a pretty big day ahead of us. We've got our first fantasy football draft of the season. It's great to have a few preseason games in there before you do it. And we do an auction draft style. So when you go in there, if you want a guy, you can go get a guy. So we're going to talk about the guys that we're looking to try to get tomorrow. And Nick, I believe you said we were going to talk about quarterbacks first, so I will let you kick
Yep.
it off with the guy that I know that you want bad on your team.
Well, okay. Now I'm gonna say this just because this is something for money. I'm not gonna go all favorites.
I hear you.
So I am gonna go hard whenever people start going for quarterbacks. I'm gonna go hard after Josh Allen, and if I can't get Josh Allen, I'm gonna get Joe Burrow.
I did the same thing last year. Like I said, listen, I want to get a quarterback that I can put in and I don't have to think about it the rest of the year.
Right, right,
You just put him in, and that's it.
right.
You think about it 1 week a year when he's on the bye week, and that's it.
And to be honest with you, it might depend because I have interest in a lot. I have interest in both wide receiver ones for Allen and Burrow.
Yeah.
That I intend on going after at least one of them, if not both of them, if I can. But then
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have any money left if I got both of those
So
guys.
you might be looking for a guy that can stack up with his number one wide receiver.
Right.
And that's
Or
good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Or do the same thing with like a running back and a wide receiver. That way, whatever one isn't getting, the other one is getting more than likely.
Yeah, now
You
that's
know what I'm
always
saying?
yeah, I understand what you're saying. So you're thinking more top end quarterback for sure.
Yeah, I don't really want to settle for like a quarterback that's shaky that I'm not sure is going to be worth anything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean Josh Allen, you're gonna play him against the best defense, you're gonna play
Oh,
him against the worst defense. He's
right.
gonna be fine. But yeah, I mean he gives you the rushing, he gives you the deep balls, he gives you the 400 and some yards a
Yeah,
game. I mean, so what can you say?
right.
I will say that this year, I'm going to go back to a more middle tier quarterback type, presence. We only have 8 teams in the league, so a lot of guys will wait later on and spend like, $5, $10 of their auction money on a backup. So
Yeah.
the first couple guys will go around 150 to $200. Then after that, it'll fall off and it'll go down to about $50 per guy. I'm looking to slip in maybe like a Kyler Murray or a Jalen Hurts that
Yeah.
have the dual threat of, hey, they've got the weapons to throw the ball to them, but then they also can run the ball really well too.
Right.
Running the ball, in fantasy football, 10 yards is a point. Well, passing the ball 25 yards is a point. So having a guy that can do both, just like a Josh Allen, and Pat Mahomes doesn't run it as much as I would like to see him run these days, but Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, maybe even Trey Lance down for the 49ers this year could be a guy like that. But I'm going to try to go that route this year, just a little cheaper on the quarterback end.
Yeah, I hear you.
Um, but no, I think it'll be interesting. Like I said, the first 4 or 5 guys on the quarterback side will go for higher up. You don't usually see quarterbacks. We start with $1,500 in our accounts or whatever, kind of, sort of. And you don't usually see quarterbacks ever get over 300 just because everybody knows that the other positions are just
More
so
valuable.
important.
Yeah, right.
So we'll go to running backs, and so if you're going for a top tier quarterback, what are you thinking? Let's say you do get Josh Allen. What are you thinking at running back then?
I'm hoping I can sneak someone that has extreme upside that I think I might could sneak away in like Alvin Kamara or someone like that maybe.
I
Who's
completely
not who's
understand.
not at the top of everyone's draft boards, but he's up there towards the top, you know what I'm saying?
I understand. I see what you're saying. So you're not thinking like those top 5 guys or anything that everybody's just gonna
Right.
pay outrageous for. You're
Right.
thinking, let me slip in here with maybe a couple $200 guys like Alvin Kamara, maybe an Aaron Jones, or
Right, right, right,
you
right.
know, even if you had to, you could go probably $100, $150 on a guy like Leonard Fournette and be happy.
Right.
Now this is where I'm going to spend my money, and I'm the guy that has to write everything down and do everything for the league. So it kind of helps me to go ahead and get who I want at the beginning, and then have some chill out time so I can just like write some stuff down. But I'm gonna go and try to get 2 of the top 5 running backs, and I'm gonna try
That's
to
all your
get.
money.
Yep, it is going to be all my money, and I'm just going to bank on it, man. And I'll tell you why when we talk about wide receivers. But I'm going to go for Christian McCaffrey and I'm going to go for Austin Eckler because they both have the pass catching effectiveness that they need to have to be efficient in a PPR league. We
Yeah.
play full point PPR, so every reception is an extra point. And those two guys are, and I think the Panthers offense can be good enough. And even, even if they're not, Christian McCaffrey's going to catch a bunch of passes.
Right.
Austin Eckler's on an absolute insane offense, so he's going to be down near the end zone a lot anyway, too, for the touchdown purposes. If I can get those two guys, that like you said, if they stay healthy, all right, those two guys are in my lineup every week. You
Right.
know,
Right.
after those two guys, everybody's like, well, what about your third running back? Okay, well, like you said, I'm gonna leave those guys in there pretty much every week. So the only thing I'm gonna be looking for after those two guys in the running back category are maybe rookies that people let slip or fall, or maybe guys that I think are gonna take over a backfield later in the season. So guys like Travis Etienne, who's a
Hmm.
rookie for Jacksonville, maybe I take AJ Dillon late if somebody's kind of sleeping on him. Now he has been rising, but he does
Right.
play for the Packers. But he is technically Aaron Jones's backup, sort of, kind of. So
Yeah.
maybe that shies somebody away. But that's what I'm going to do: take two studs and then take some guys that maybe later down the road, if I need them, have emerged as big help.
Yeah. I think what I do with wide receivers and running backs and like at the beginning of the draft is all gonna that's gonna like if I can get Jamar Chase, I'm getting Joe Burrow. I'm getting Joe Burrow.
Absolutely.
Like I
So
like and
whichever one comes up first, if you can
right.
get one, you're definitely gonna try to get the other.
Or if I can't get Jamar, like I just don't feel comfortable spending that amount of money, and I can
Yeah,
run someone else up. Maybe I'll go for Diggs, and then maybe go in on Josh Allen as well.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so I don't know. It's just all going to depend on how my running back and wide receiver stuff goes. Because I would like to get Joe Mixon as well if I
Yeah.
could.
Would you now, you said that you'd be looking for guys in the running back class like, like a Alvin Kamara and maybe a
Mhm.
Aaron Jones, maybe a Leonard Fournette, guys that are kind of proven, but might slip down in cost a
Right.
little bit. Is that what you're looking for with like maybe your third, fourth, fifth running back? Are you still looking for guys that are a little safer? Are you gonna do what I'm kind of trying to do, where you like take a chance on a guy that might emerge as just the absolute stud of his backfield?
Yeah. I think I'm probably more if it's a bench guy, like a backup guy. I'm probably going to lean more towards a guy who has a chance to break out, and
Yeah,
not a guy who has been good and is kind of on the decline.
yeah.
And I
I
just
completely understand.
yeah
Just an example here. A guy that's falling down draft boards right now is Josh Jacobs, who is the obvious starter for the Oakland Raiders. He's going to lose passing down work to Amir Abdullah. Well, everybody knows that. He's always lost passing down work. He's always lost a little work. But there could be the first 2 or 3 games of the season. Josh Jacobs is rushing, 2 touchdowns here, 1 touchdown here, 2 touchdowns here. But then you get in the dog days of weeks 9, 10, 11,
yeah
and maybe your one or two running back has got hurt, and then Josh Jacobs goes out of sight.
right
So you can, if you're going to get those guys, you need to be able to play them early. If you're going to go with some bigger guys, bigger names, you really need to be looking for upside and just taking a chance on somebody. So I think we're in agreement. It's all about calculated risk with
right
fantasy football. So if I'm deciding to go big on running back, that means that I'm going lower end on the wide receiver end
yeah
of the
okay.
column. Yeah. So
Hey,
you said you're going upper end. So other than Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, I'm sure that you wouldn't mind to have a Cooper Cup, on your
yeah,
team.
I told myself it's all going to depend on how crazy high people are willing to go on Cooper Cup because if
Yeah.
I feel comfortable spending that amount of money on him, I'm going to get him because to me he's the best wide receiver in the league. I just think
Yeah.
he is. And but if I can't get him or I can't get Jamar Chase or Stephon Diggs, maybe I'm going more for like a Keenan Allen or a DJ Moore or something like that. Like I don't, and then maybe going a little heavier on the running backs if wide receivers don't work out for me.
Yeah.
It's all going to depend on what everyone else is doing for me. Also,
Absolutely. I understand. And the way that you have to do it sometimes is like, okay, well, you kind of get backed into a corner at sometimes, and guys end up going for more money because okay,
right,
this guy went early, and nobody kind of wanted to spend their money just yet, like kind of worried.
right,
Then it gets to a guy like Stephon Diggs, who I feel like is I feel like him and the other three guys are the top four wide receivers pretty clear.
Right.
So when it gets to Stephon Diggs may go for more than maybe Jamar Chase went for just
Hmm.
because he's the end of a tier. You know what I
Right.
mean? But just me personally knowing the league and being in the league, we start with $1,500. I would not be surprised at all if Cooper Cup goes for around 500. I've seen the top wide receivers go for around 500. I've also seen, you'll see at least two running backs go for over 600 apiece. And
Wow.
then after that, it kind of falls off pretty quickly. But I mean, if you really trust a guy, you go get him, and you get him for whatever money it takes. But then, with my strategy on going big running back, I'm either looking at two things. I'm either looking at, just like what we said with running backs, I'm either looking at guys who I think can really break out that are lower down,
Yeah.
or since I'm kind of having to go lower in general, I may grab a couple guys that I know are going to be good for at least the first couple weeks. Some of those veteran guys that I know I can kind of lean on. Maybe some guys that everybody else are kind of down on. Just for example, some guys that might could still be pretty useful that could fall down. I could see a guy like DK Metcalf falling down. He's got all the talent in the world. The quarterback situation's shaky. For the right price, I would get to take a chance on him just because I had spent all my money on the running backs.
Right.
And you got to put talent on the roster and take a chance.
Right.
I think Brandon Cooks is a guy like that from Houston because he's on Houston. Nobody expects Houston to do any winning this year, but that doesn't mean Brandon Cooks is a bad player, you
Right.
know? So I could either go that route or I could go on down the list and look for some guys that I know could break out, some younger guys, like Elijah Moore for the Jets. Maybe I think Michael Thomas is going to come back strong for the Saints. Or Juju Smith-Schuster. Maybe I think that he's going to be the actual like guy in Kansas City. Yeah, so it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So, are you thinking like you're going with one of the top five wide receivers, and then are you going to try to get maybe one guy to the next five, and then maybe one guy to the next five? Or are you trying to play it kind of even?
I guess what I'm more hoping to do is try to get at worst like Joe Mixon or Alvin Kamara as my best running back, and at
Yeah,
worst like Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore is my best wide receiver, and
that's a
hopefully,
that's exactly what we just said. That's that
yeah.
same ordeal. That's that one guy from each tier kind of,
Hmm.
and those are some great PPR options.
Right.
Um, Jamar Chase is a home run ball guy, and I feel like DJ Moore is going to become that PPR guy. I feel like Baker Mayfield's just going to feed him this year, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Keenan Allen's always been the PPR guy.
Right.
He's always
Keenan Allen's
9,
a
10,
beast.
11 passes a game. So that's a great strategy. And you won't. I always try to stay away from good players on bad offenses. So guys like, for example, let's see, who's the highest guy up that I think is just on a bad offense?
Probably DK Metcalf.
Probably, probably. I think Terry McLaurin for
Oh
for
yeah, true, true,
Washington.
true.
I think he's on a bad offense. I just don't see that offense getting it going against anybody. And I'm not saying
No.
that Carson Wentz is totally terrible, but
Yeah, but there's
I
way better out there.
absolutely, if that guy's my third guy at wide receiver, I probably don't feel too bad. If I'm taking your strategy and then that guy's my third guy, I don't feel as bad. But
Right.
with me, that guy might have to be my first guy, and I just
Oh
don't. Yeah, I
no.
can't do that. I would rather do something like an Adam Thielen when I know that he's been in that offense for years. He's caught a lot of touchdowns from Kirk Cousins, and he's a clear number two behind a guy that's absolutely going to draw a bunch of coverage in Justin Jefferson. Maybe I'm taking Adam Thielen as my number two wide receiver and feeling good about it for at least the first several weeks of the season. But it's a lot to think about. I mean, and it's always fun at the very, very end of drafts because people start taking the guys that they kind of like silently are just wishing for.
Right.
Like I know a couple guys toward the back end of this draft that are going to go, like Julio Jones, that's playing for Tampa Bay now.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to take a chance on him. Somebody's going to take a chance on Jarvis Landry playing for New Orleans. Uh, somebody might take another chance on like another Kansas City wide receiver just because everybody wants a little
Right.
piece of the Kansas City pie.
Right. I mean, it's just Patrick Mahomes can make anybody look good, I think, man. And I feel like Josh Allen's the same way. Like I feel
Yep.
like any athletic receiver that has just mediocre hands,
Yep.
they're gonna feed them and they can make them look way better than they really are. Like
Yeah.
they're so good.
At the end of a draft, I'm looking for an upside wide receiver who nobody really knows too much about that has a good quarterback. I mean, a quarterback that can get him the ball. I'm not looking at the end of my draft. I'm not looking for, a guy from New England. I don't want
Right,
anybody in the New England offense. I don't know how Mac Jones is going to throw the ball this year. That guy
right,
could be off my lineup as soon as he's on my lineup. I need to take a chance on somebody at the end of the draft.
right.
When we're buying guys for $1 at the very end. We'll talk about tight ends for just a second. I know that, I'm going big on running back and I'm also going to go big on tight end. Um, I'm going to try to get one of the top two tight ends. I'm going to try to get either Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. And I had Mark Andrews last year in that same league. Awesome, awesome tight end. I mean, he is great. Lamar Jackson, like that's the guy that he looks for inside the 20. So, those two guys are really a tier above. And then you've got Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller, and crap, George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those guys all kind of have a little bit weighing on them, I would say, because
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts has Marcus Mariota as his quarterback now, so not the strongest situation. Plus, he plays in Atlanta, which is a team that I think is like toward the bottom of everybody's power
Yeah.
ranking. Yeah, not the best look there. George Kittle with the injury risk, Darren Waller with the injury risk, dealing with the hamstring. Now, Nick, I know you said that you might go a little lower on the tight end. What are you exactly looking for when you're thinking lower on the tight end?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. Like I know that I'm gonna focus running back, and I'm at least getting my three of my top four running backs and wide receiver, if that makes sense. Like out of both top twos, I'm getting at least three of those four top
Oh,
twos
absolutely,
before I
absolutely.
even think about going for a tight end. And if
Yeah.
Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews and all those good guys are off the board, that's fine with me, as long as I got the guys I needed to get in running back and wide receiver.
Yeah, so you're thinking more along the lines of you might be playing the waiver wire throughout the year,
Yeah, yeah, it could
kind of
be.
saying, yeah, just kind of seeing who's got the hot hand at tight end. And I think if you're going to wait on a tight end, you kind of just think, well, he's got a good offense and he's going to be
Right.
down near the end zone.
Get someone with a good quarterback. Like if
Yep.
even if they don't have it, even if they're not, on the best team or whatever, get someone with a decent enough quarterback.
Because I know for a fact that you could get guys like Dawson Knox for the Buffalo Bills. He'll be under $10
Right.
toward the end of the draft. You'll get Robert Tunyon for the Packers. He'll be under $10 at the end of the draft. And those guys have quarterbacks that will throw them the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be near the end zone a lot.
Right.
So, uh, condolences to the Dawson Knox family. Hate that situation that went on with his brother had tragically passed away. So.
Oh.
The
Wow.
NFL world's been buzzing with that and everything. So hopefully Dawson Knox is back out there full strength, pretty soon.
Yeah.
But real quick on kickers and defense, we do a lot of leagues are kind of going away from the kicker. We still play that you have a kicker and a defense. I never spend anything more than $1 on my
Yeah.
kicker or
There's no
defense.
point in it.
Yeah, toward the end of the draft, I'll start throwing up defenses just to see how much people will bid on them. And sometimes, people are usually pretty smart in our drafts because we've been doing it for so long. But sometimes they'll get up there about $15 to $20, and I'm just thinking like, thanks, bud. You just wasted
Hmm.
some of your money, because I can get defenses off the waiver wire every week
Right.
that are playing the New York Giants. You know what I mean? So I mean, and that's what you kind of do. Like, I mean, if
Yeah.
you're not gonna get one of these top tier defenses, like maybe the Dallas Cowboys are all the buzz now, and you know that the Chargers are going to have a great defense, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers always have a pretty good defense. If you're not going to get some of these defenses, then you're
Yeah.
probably going to be playing the waiver wire, and that's fine. Like
Yeah.
it is not hard to play the waiver wire and play matchup with
Uh-uh.
defenses.
No.
And then as far as kicker, it's just like with tight end, in my opinion, look for a guy that their team is going to be on
Right.
the right side of the ball field most of the time. They're going to be on the right side of that football field playing offense across that 50 all the time, and you're just going to rack up the field goals and the extra
Yeah.
points. But But no, I look forward to it. I think it's going to be a
Yeah,
real fun time and everything. I'm
I'm
interested to
excited.
see because when you sit around a table with guys and you're doing this auction draft and somebody bids you up and everything, it's just so much more realistic, you know.
Right,
Instead of, it is fun picking somebody in front of somebody else too with like just a regular draft, but when you're actually like bidding in with somebody and you
right,
both have a chance to have him, it's just fun that way. You
right.
have some pizza and have a good time,
Yeah,
So, well, we appreciate everybody that's been giving us listens and everything. We're definitely going to come to you very soon with our divisional standings for this year. We're going to predict each
yeah,
division. We're going to try to get CJ back on here for an MLB power rankings. We're probably
yeah.
going to go. Nick, you said we're going with how many on the MLB Power Rankings this time?
I think we're just going to go top 15 just to shorten that list down a little bit because it's getting close to elimination time, and there's some teams that just don't have a realistic shot at coming back, and making anything of their season. So there's no need to really talk about them at this point.
Yeah, and you hate, you want everybody to hear about their team, but at a certain
Right,
point, the congregation of MLB is going to be thinking about, all right, who's got a chance here.
right, right.
But we look forward to it, and we
Yeah.
appreciate everybody. Give us a like, hit the subscribe button. It's free, takes 5 seconds. Leave us on in the background while you're driving down the road. That's what I do every day. I put us on whenever I pull out of the driveway, and when I go into work, I turn it back off. So just get a quick episode in. But anyway, Nick, you got anything else for him?
No, but actually, I do have one thing. It should be popping up under mine and under Colby's right now. There should be a video that you haven't watched, and it's an option to subscribe right there. So just click that. It's free, it's easy, and it helps us grow, and it helps us be able to make you more content.
We appreciate it.
Yep.
Triple play. We'll see.